Hi, Sharon again here, and I just had a few things that I'd like to share with you, and perhaps it would be interesting to you. I've always been interested in the Catholic saints, and I always thought, well, those people knew something, and I wanted to know what they knew. And so right now I'm studying this book, I Want to See God, and it talks about the spirituality of Saint Teresa of Avila, and she lived in the 1500s. She was a contemporary with St. John of the Cross, and the two of them were involved in reforming the Carmelite order in the church. And the thing of it is, she was so ahead of her time. She wrote the book, the interior castle, which is about going inward and meeting God in various degrees of going inward. She just had so many things that we're actually thinking about at this time. And I'm thinking kind of that ascension, there's been so many moves of God that has sort of put us further in all the time. It's sort of like a wave, and every time the wave God moves, the wave gets a little bit higher. So right now we're in another wave of understanding what ascension is all about. And so there is a story in the Bible that I think it's really appropriate for right now. And it was about Elisha the prophet, and he had a meeting with a bunch of other prophets, and there was a famine in the land. And so he said, well, go get a pot, go out and get some stuff and make a stew. And so this one person went out and he found this vine that had gourds on it. And so he gathered up as many of these gourds as his clothing would hold, took it back, cut it up, and put it in the stew. And they didn't know what that was. And so suddenly they realized, and they called out, there's death in the pot. And so Elisha, he said, get me some flour. And so he took some flour, and I envisioned him taking a handful of that flour and throwing it in the pot. And it made the pot sweet, and it was no longer poisonous. And so I just think it just feels like we're in a big stew pot. This whole reality is like a pot of stew with all kinds of stuff in it. And there's, poisonous mushrooms, and there's death in this pot as well. And so how in the world, I honestly think we're charged, that those who are ascending are charged with sweetening this pot. And so how are we going to do that? And so I'll tell you a little story about myself. And this has been years ago, and I had just had a breakup with a guy that I was supposed to marry. I had lost everything that I had put, all the work I had put into build a company in England. And so I was visiting some people in England, and they decided that we would go to Southwold Beach, which is on the east coast of England. And it was a lovely beach and everything. It was a little bit cold that day, but right then I decided that I was going to, I could no longer carry this thing about trying to find my divine counterpart. It's like I have missed someone my entire life, and I've been on a quest trying to find this person, and every guy I thought, well, guy is probably the one. Well, it never was. And so I got to the place where I had to just lay that whole quest, that part of me that involved a divine counterpart, I laid it on the beach. I left it laying there. And it was so satisfying not to have that, not to be carrying that. And so I think we just have to ask ourselves, what are we carrying? And I realized that I've got to call that back to me. I've got to carry that. It's like I can't leave this reality, this planet, and leave something on South Wall Beach that's part of me. And I know that, all along the way in life, you're leaving little pieces of yourself here and there and everywhere. You leave pieces in your present day. Like I was at work. I mean, I did stuff and everything, and all of that effort I left there. So that was a piece of me. You leave pieces of you in other relationships, friendships, even in the future. You can project pieces of yourself there. And I think the only way that we're going to sweeten the pot is that we have to be totally whole. We've got to gather up all the pieces. So I'm bringing back the piece that I left on South Wall Beach. And even though it's like driving a knife into my heart. And so, and also pulling all the pieces from my past and wherever in the present and also the future, because we've got to be a whole person. We can't be all fragmented to be able to, take our energy and throw it into this pot and sweeten, get rid of the death in the pot. And so, I guess that's what I wanted to say. I don't know. I'll probably think of 20 things that I wanted to say when I quit. But anyway, it is an amazing thing how, we have to be whole. We have to get union within ourselves, the divine masculine, divine feminine, and the inner child. It's an inward family that we can just work together and heal with everything before anything happens on the outside of you. You got to get the inside fixed. So that's what I had. Just let's throw our energy into the pot and sweeten it and work to make. I think that's what we're charged to do. We're on an upward wave on ascension right now, and so I'm just thinking, may you have a package from home, from heaven today, and I just bless you, sweet heaven, bright sky.